Hurry up!
Hey everyone, you're watching Time Attack,
the only video game show on the internet.
and today we have just 15 minutes to discuss the future of video gaming in the year 2025. All right, so guys, we're heading into a new year, or by the time this video is out, we're in the year 2025. We got a lot of things going on with Xbox. We got anticipation for Switch 2. PlayStation's got some stuff cooking, I'm pretty sure. What are your thoughts? What do you think is going to be happening?
That's definitely the gray area of PlayStation. I don't follow them too close, but obviously Switch 2, I think is at least going to dominate the first part of 2025.
My concern is they haven't even officially released anything about it, and it's probably going to go on sale in the first half of 2025.
You really think so? The Switch 2?
I think so, yeah.
But why in the spring? You know, you think
I think between March and June it's going to be out.
Really? Right after Christmas, you think they'd wait until closer to the holiday season, to the next fall or something.
Well, you look at the trend with all the software they have, announced. There's not a lot. There's the remake of Xenoblade Chronicles X, and then there's Metroid Prime 4, which, is probably going to be for both.
And then that's it's going to be for both. Well, maybe if it is backwards compatible, as some people
it's rumored.
Confirmed.
Yeah,
it'll be like a Twilight Princess, Breath of the Wild situation where it comes out for both, but you're really going to want that Switch 2 version.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we don't even know the name. Switch 2, I guess, is the rumored. That's really unoriginal and not like Nintendo, but the fact that they're just doing, as far as we know, an upgraded version is also not like Nintendo.
I mean, look at what happened with the Wii and the Wii U. I mean, they're probably afraid to do something like the Super Nintendo
thinking.
Switch.
Yeah.
The Super Switch. That'd be kind of cool.
Great title, but...
Yeah, that works. The SS.
But we do know one thing officially that's backwards compatible. They made sure to say that. You know why? So people would buy more games during Christmas.
Well, yeah. I mean, there was a lot of heavy hitters that we just got past. And, again, nothing really coming up in the pipeline.
Mm-hmm. Well, we talked about Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. Drop in January 16th. Probably already happened. No? Okay. I'm excited.
We'll see. I don't know. It's just with everything hearing about the fluctuating quality of that game, I don't know.
Well, for me, it's just I like the idea of playing a good game. It's a good game without having to with the motion controls.
Yeah.
And you can just hold a nice, comfortable controller and enjoy it the way it's
You'll
supposed to be
still have
enjoyed.
the option, but yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Nintendo, obviously Switch 2 is coming out. What do you expect Switch 2 to launch with? That's all speculation.
I've heard Mario
Kart 10
is would be the
is that 9?
a very aggressive.
No.
Well, deluxe. Would be,
Tourist 9. Yeah.
Yeah, but I've heard that if they do that, it'll be a killer app. Obviously, I think Mario Kart's one of the top 5 selling.
It is.
Switch games. Yeah. Maybe top 5 not top 5 video games of all time, but it's really high up there. So it would do very well. It's going to be selling entire lifespan, most likely.
Yeah, it's crazy because it came out for Wii U.
I just don't know where they could go. I feel like the same thing with Smash Brothers. It's just not going to be on the same kind of level as the last one. They have to change the formula. Same thing with Mario Kart. There's so much variety with characters, over close to 100 tracks. That's pretty unheard of.
Well, that's a different kind of problem. But it's good that you bring Smash Brothers up because I think Smash Brothers is poised to be maybe not as strong, but in a similar position as Mario Kart 8 was, where it's they haven't released a deluxe version. Mm-hmm. They have all that DLC.
Yeah.
It's they could easily, as far as I know, if it's similar kind of structure to the system, the way it's made, it's just port that over, deluxe Smash really close to launch. Not quite a Mario Kart seller, but I think that's a really strong title. Little effort required.
Yeah, so you're thinking a lot of what they did with the Wii U, rebranding it on the Switch, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, Mario Kart 8 here, Smash Brothers, and then we're just going to be doing that again for the Switch 2.
Because this one they had never done a deluxe version yet.
Mm. Yeah, complete,
Yeah, so specifically that they can, and Smash is a pretty decent seller, so good to go. And then I think a Pokemon game would be a good, if they have one ready.
Yeah.
They've never done that before launch with a Pokemon game, but that's comparable. That's one of the biggest brand in the world, right?
Do you think that the Switch 2 will outsell the Switch? Because I'm thinking not, just because the Switch will most likely go down in price. It's very comparable to what we expect the successor to be. So then, there might be a lot of people who are just oh, honey, why don't you just get a Switch? We can get all the games for it for much cheaper than this brand new console that just is more powerful.
A clear advantage, yeah, if there's not that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really depends on like if this is just like sort of like a upgraded version of it. It might, it might not do as great.
It might be able to fall into that niche, honestly, of almost feel like a pro version, right? Because that's what we're looking at with the other systems. Like Sony just released the Pro. Xbox says they're not going to. They're working on the next gen. Not going to come out not this year, obviously. Because they talk about that, we're talking about handheld, which is it feels like Kinect all over, or no, sorry, Kinect all over again.
I just don't. I really do have really low expectations for Xbox. I'm really getting a sense they're like Sega. They used to be back when Dreamcast was out. I really get the feeling Microsoft is not going to be in the hardware business with all the advertisement of like everything's an Xbox. That's a pretty aggressive message. That takes away people from buying an Xbox if you already own 4 Xboxes.
I mean, if you have the hardware that can run it properly, like with streaming and like cloud, then I think it's a great idea. I mean, I was playing Game Pass on my phone, so if you have the hardware for it, I think it's great. But I don't think a lot of places are set up
to do that.
Yeah.
Yet.
Yeah, I think their offering will be like the box is an easy point of entry. You can buy our box. It's designed to run our games. It's a good way to go. But yeah, they're playing like 4D chess right now. Now, whether they're playing it well or not, I don't know. It might blow up in their faces. But like, I can't see them going the way of Sega when they own like Activision and Bethesda, and they at any point. I mean, I think legally they can't just pull the exclusivity lever right. I don't think they can make Call of Duty exclusive yet. At some point down the line, they can.
I think that was part of the deal. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like it's weird to say, oh, they're losing when they own like all the biggest brands in the world.
But in terms of hardware, they, as far as I'm aware, Sony and Xbox don't make any profit from their consoles.
No.
Xbox has sold less Xboxes, like Series X's, and I think S's as well, than the PS5. So it's like, what investment do they have in creating a really powerful console that most likely will be even more expensive than the Switch 2 would be? It seems like it's a bad recipe, unless they're expecting to do very limited prints of it, or
but they have some wizardry going on. They're kind of underrated in that regard. Where like the Xbox Series X launched with the PS5. PS5 Pro, as far as I'm aware, is only slightly more powerful than a base Series X. That's why they don't feel like they need to make a new one. And it's like, so, and they're really good too at offering different things. They got they made the S and the X at the same time, which the S was a very affordable price point. Yeah. So, obviously, if you can afford to go buy a gaming computer, you don't need Xbox. But if you only got a couple $100, you get a Series S. You can play most current gen games almost as well. Like, I think that's the way they're looking at it. Like, we're going to give you options. We don't care though, because at the end of the day, we get the software sales.
Yeah.
The other side of it is we're giving people a taste, and later on we say, okay, well, if you want it, come to us.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing too. They could put Halo on Sony.
Well, yeah.
And then just say, you know what? Never mind.
Well, man, like the days of exclusivity are so gone. I mean, like there was
yes and no.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's games on PlayStation that I love to play that I will, at least right now, I can't play on Xbox.
But you can on PC.
Eventually, soon, yeah. But I mean, I know that they will eventually come to Xbox, but by then I already own the software. It's on my, what I already.
If you
have.
can't choose on launch, then you're not going to buy it again later. You're already on that platform. Yeah. There's a bunch of Sony titles like on Steam and maybe just Steam, that I think they're like. Not last gen, but within the last 5 years, I think of things like God of War and Horizon.
Yeah, it's
Zero
not quite
Dawn.
the simultaneous launch Microsoft does, but
it actually just feels like it's in my market, which is just like, okay, cool. I'm on my PC and I have a Switch, and I've never had a PlayStation. There's a PlayStation game, cool. If it's not like an ugly port, then it'll be a good PC game,
So just in the interest, I don't know where the timer is, but the interest of keeping it kind of even, You're the guy that owns a PlayStation.
I have a PS5.
So what are you looking at in 2025? What do you think is going to happen at your end of things?
Because I know the Switch is coming, my focus on the PS5 isn't as high. My expectations software-wise aren't for exclusive games. So, I'm expecting an announcement for Persona 6. I'm expecting some news about the third part of Final Fantasy 7, whatever they're going to name it. But for me, those are the only big things. And, at least for Persona 6, it's going to be multi-platform. For the Final Fantasy 7, it will eventually be multi-platform.
Even
PC.
Death Stranding 2 is likely
Yeah.
Just because we just got the first one on Xbox is a little. I'm guessing they're clearing the runway for simultaneous launches. I think even Square had said like they're going to start branching more.
Well, that's exactly what they recently. They just said that this game can't be exclusive forever because they want everyone to play it.
Which one?
Final Fantasy VII Remake Rebirth.
Really?
I mean, they're already on PC or coming to PC.
You're saying you're expecting to see it on Xbox eventually?
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't be surprised, but they've held on for 7 for so
And this is
long,
the
including
wall.
other, except for maybe Crisis Core. We've seen that on Xbox One, we've seen it on Switch. So we're getting a little bit of.
I think is
some
it Final Fantasy 16 or is that
well,
just
I'm
PC?
talking about 7
Oh, okay.
related stuff.
Yeah.
Like they're just
they're hitting this wall where these AAA games take so long to make. They cost so much money. They're shooting themselves in the foot by saying, "Well, we're only going to sell them on this one system," when they could sell them on all of them. And I think that's maybe where Microsoft's going. Like. The whole market's changing, so it's like it seems like Microsoft's so dumb. They don't care about exclusives. They're giving all their exclusives away,
Well,
and they don't care if you buy their system. But I think they see the change, and whether or not they're tracking it correctly, we don't know. But
I think they're hedging their bets somewhat, and it felt like with the streaming in xCloud. Or
well, let's
whatever
say
it's
Game
called.
Pass. A lot of their
Yeah.
exclusive sometimes are day one on Game
Yes.
Pass.
first party always are.
Well, that's what I
that's
mean.
their
To me, that
incentive, yeah.
whether they're shooting themselves in the foot because of that, or I mean, they're trying to like they're desperate to get people to come to it almost.
I don't think they want to abandon the hardware fully yet,
Yeah.
though. So
Well, with Xbox, I'm thinking like, they absorbed Rare like over a decade ago. And we really haven't seen anything close to what Rare did before in gaming.
Perfect
to
Dark.
what it did after. Yeah, we have that
Killer
one
Instinct.
Dark, Killer Instinct.
Well, you're not a big
So-
Viva Pinata fan. That's their crowning achievement, I think.
No, but like in recent years, so I wouldn't doubt it that other things they've acquired won't be into use. It might be just to take off the market.
I
to
think
have sort of
game
a
development is
monopoly
such a
little bit of
lengthy
certain
process. There's tons of stuff cooking right now that it just takes time, right? Like we do know the Perfect Dark game is coming. We've seen more and more, but even then, it's been a long road to even get to the cinematic trailer,
things.
right?
And what if it doesn't pan out? It's like, we saw that trailer back in 2024,
That's
but then it just we
Well,
haven't
that's
heard
been a
from it
concern.
since.
Like Microsoft has all these acquisitions, they got all these games coming up, but a lot of them have been disappointments. Like Starfield, isn't a bad game from what I've heard, but it's like
it crashed.
bland,
It didn't make the same impact, I think, as Skyrim.
like they'd
did.
hoped it would. Yes,
Yeah,
but
it
then
set the world
Indiana
on fire.
Jones just got rave reviews. People were like, "Oh, it's their best exclusive in like a decade, practically."
Wow.
So it's like, maybe Microsoft's making the wrong decision. Maybe they just had to stick with it a little longer. Because I Phil Spencer said something like, "Oh, well, we can't good exclusives, good games aren't going to sell the system."
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like, yeah,
which
but you just
seems-
had one finally,
Yeah.
and now you're dropping on PlayStation like 3 months later, 2 months later.
I don't know.
It's like, oh, maybe hold off just a little longer.
What do you guys think about the future of microtransactions and this free-to-play model? Because that has been like the buzz for the last 3 years, I feel like. Do you think that we're going to see that continue in 2025? Do you think we're going to see a shift in that? Thoughts?
It's going to get worse and worse and worse.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna get worse. And I mean, I don't partake in any of those things. Most of the games I play don't really involve that stuff, but I can see games that my son plays, or all these battle passes.
Guard that credit card.
Exactly. I mean, you read stories about kids taking their credit card and spending $600, but it's so easily accessible now.
I feel like monetization is just like this hydra, right? Where it's like, okay, so loot boxes were terrible. People hate loot boxes, so now they're considered gambling. People are cracking down on them. So now we got other forms, little in-game purchases. You've always had that paid currency that you pay for the currency, which is never enough of. And it's they always have a new trick. Every time you think you've got figured out, we got another way to make money. But at the same time, they need to. AAA games take too much money to make.
I just feel like it's like a tipping culture now. It's like we're relying on your donations for these games to survive, instead of just make a game and sell the game, not the service.
No, it's
Or
not
the
enough,
DLC.
I wish we had numbers. Maybe there is that we can access somewhere, but I don't know where you can go to see how much did these games make?
Dude, okay, so you go to the
and
store,
compared to
if
before.
you buy the new Uncharted game or whatever, it cost as much as Mario 64 did. It took way more people to make.
Yeah.
And it's people don't want to pay more money for games, but you pick your poison. You pay more up front, or you do the microtransactions. And obviously live service will always exist because there's opportunity to make even more money off people. I'm not saying game developers aren't trying to scam you, but a lot of this extra monetization does stem, I think, from just the rising costs and the fact that we just can't make the money off these. And then Game Pass obviously doesn't help either because they got the subscriptions that you guys are saying, but there's a limit to how much that can grow, especially if it's only on Xbox.
So either the whole kind of industry is going to reach a tipping point where, I mean, if you're constantly essentially trying to like put more money into your game, get the money later, release what you have now, but you're still trying to make that like AAA, quadruple A title, and then you have like indie developers with theoretically low cost floor, like.
They're fine.
Do you think it'll either stabilize?
Well,
Maybe
that's
not.
It for the 15 minutes. So, thanks for watching. I guess let us know what you think will happen in gaming in 2025. What are your predictions?
Maybe it's happening now.
Maybe it's happening right now. So, thanks for watching.
Thank you.
See ya.
Time over!